Welcome to Market Like a Hotshot, episode 61.
Or is it 62?
No, it's 61.
61.
Get your facts straight, Feuda, so you don't work out. You weren't. Speaking of working out,
we've done so many of these.
we saw this gentleman here on the bike path.
I know.
A couple of days ago, right? And we are honored to have you here, Mr. Cargill, Bob Cargill.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, James. Appreciate it.
So cool having you on.
So cool. We're here at Venture Cafe, Cambridge. You can see Kendall Square behind us here. We're really psyched to be in the center of innovation. And we talk about marketing, innovation. That's Mr. Cargill, Bob Cargill himself. So, we have a lot of history. AMA Boston, you were a president, I'm a president. But I'd love to hear James, how you and James got to know each other.
So do you want to tell it or do you want me to start?
You might have a better story. I mean, I know how.
So it's funny. So many years ago, Bob and I both taught digital marketing courses at Keith Tech over in Framingham, right down the street from where we.
So social media, to be specific.
We were.
That's what I taught.
You were social media. I was more of. I did blogging and other stuff like that too. But it was really cool. So we got to know each other a little bit. We chatted. I forget, it was before either your
in
class
the hallway
or my class.
Something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
in the classroom maybe.
Yeah, we got to catch up, and I know like some of the people that took your class took some of my other. I taught like a bunch of different. I wasn't just digital. I was public speaking, interviewing, a whole bunch of other topics. And then there are people that are like, oh, I went to Bob's class and they loved your class. So many cool things about it. And I'm like, I'm glad you and I connected through that because it was good, a lot of good stuff. And then like following you these last, 12, 15 years. How long ago was it?
That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it was
a long.
Social media.
Yeah, it was.
We were like pioneers, James.
It was so cool, and then like being connected with you all of this time, seeing your, watching you grow, watching you, as Jeff said, be like AMA president. It's been such a good, good journey to follow along. So I'm so excited. And it was funny before we started the podcast today, we were talking about that. It's like, who would have thought when we ran into each other at Keith Tech that here we would be so many years later at Venture Cafe of all places
in Cambridge.
The center of the brains of the world. I call Kendall Square.
Well, I'd call us the brains of the world.
How's that? We're the brains of the world right here.
Yeah.
Let's go. So let's get rocking here. So for listeners meeting you for the first time, I'm surprised there's listeners out there that don't know you, right?
You're too kind.
How do you describe who you are and what you do?
What I am and what I do.
I'm
a marketer by trade. I've been around the business for a few years, over 4 decades, believe it or not. I started back in 1983 in Manhattan, and that was the center of the universe to me then.
Wow.
And thought I'd never leave. But I worked at RCA Direct Marketing, Warner Brothers, then did leave. Went to Des Moines, Iowa for Meredith Corporation.
That must have been a shocker. New York City to Des Moines, Iowa?
I believe it was a shocker.
Wow.
And how I got there was a story in and of itself. But I was looking just to get... I was working at Warner Brothers at 75 Rockefeller Plaza with a window office.
Yeah.
My company, Warner Brothers, moved over to Secaucus, New Jersey. So once I got over to Secaucus, I said, I don't want to work for Warner Brothers anymore. Tried to get back into Manhattan, and I got offered a job by Meredith. I applied to work in New York, Manhattan, but they said, we got a better job for you out in Des Moines. And I took the bait.
Hey, you probably had a huge kick-ass house in Des Moines, Iowa. Right?
Well, apartment. I felt good out there for about a year, but I was lonely, and I ended up returning home.
You must have had a lot of street corn. Did they have street corn in Iowa?
They had a lot of corn. I don't remember like literally street corn, but they had a lot of corn fields.
So you've been in the industry for decades, but what changed the most? I mean, we're talking the 80s. You're in New York. Here we are in Cambridge today in 2026. How do you think marketing has changed over the years that you've been doing this?
Great follow-up question, because it's changed. When I started, I was using an electric typewriter, and now
Reagan. Hey, Reagan, you know what an electric typewriter is?
I can imagine it.
All right, yeah.
It was cool. It was considered very cool.
It was
very
like
sophisticated.
You could do a whole line of text and then you could edit it before you printed it out. Before, you'd have to actually do it exactly correct, like the old mechanical typewriters.
You use a lot of whiteout.
Whiteout. You had to literally, if you made a mistake, you had to paint white over it and then retype over it. So think how hard the brain had to work.
Yeah.
And even a little bit of physical labor there to write. I was a copywriter.
No spell
No.
check?
No.
No, you kidding me?
There's
No one
no-
hadn't even thought of that yet.
Your spell check's here.
I mean, like,
So technology has
Yeah,
changed. I mean,
technology.
it's
legit.
definitely
I mean,
changed.
back then it was direct mail, it was print, and also we listened to, or should I say, consumers listened to marketers more. There was trust, and so I feel it was easier to market, to conduct business, to communicate. Whereas now with technology, yeah, we can do things faster, but it's much more complicated, and we're expected to wear so many more hats as marketers now versus then. I just wrote back then. Now you have to do like 20 things
Yeah.
at least to succeed in marketing.
Yeah, that's a good point. My head's spinning already. We just got started here.
You got it, Joe.
So,
So you
what's-
have,
Yeah. Do you have a book?
we
yet?
have your book, Bob. So I don't know if those of you on YouTube or watching the video on Spotify, Bob wrote 20 Jobs, 20 Lessons. What inspired you to write your book?
The 20 jobs inspired me, and the fact that I made it that far, that long. I think it was in 2017 I left corporate world and transitioned into my second career.
Yeah.
And early in that journey into my second career, I decided to write this book. And I said, hey, I've had such an eclectic background and varied experience, all in marketing, though. I stayed in that one lane, marketing. But I worked at all these different agencies, mid-sized, small agencies, also on the corporate side. I thought, there's a lot of lessons that I learned the hard way that I can share with other people. And it could be senior marketers, could be junior marketers, students. Plus, it's a memoir. It's really a professional memoir about my career, but there's a lot of personal stuff in there too.
And where can you get this book? Right on Amazon?
Only on Amazon.
Only on
I
Amazon.
self-publish.
So look up Bob Cargill's 20 Jobs, 20 Lessons on Amazon.
I should add, I do have it on 11 Labs Reader audiobook, which is my voice clone.
Okay,
I cloned
wow.
my voice.
Is it AI?
AI. It's AI.
AI Bob.
So if you go to 11 Labs Reader, there's audiobooks, and they're all audio cloned voices read. Usually,
I love that. You know what I'm going to do with that?
I'm gonna
write. Yeah, I want you to clone your voice. I'm
Yeah.
going to write a book about how great I am,
Yeah.
and have your voice read it. And we'll make that
that's
a
the
podcast
danger.
episode.
If your cloned voice gets pirated.
Or yeah, I know, like you get a celebrity endorsement.
I know. Hey, we're almost celebrities.
We're getting there.
We're
We're
getting
we're getting there.
You are, in my book, you're both celebrities.
No, thanks. That's a huge compliment from you. I mean, you're a celebrity to us too. It's like,
Yeah, we found
You know.
him on the bike path.
From Chitchuit Rail Trail,
Chitchuit
one of my
Rail
many
Trail.
running routes.
so, Bob, the single most important. What is the single most important lesson that you have in your book that you think most people overlook?
That's a tough question, James. I mean, there's so many lessons. There's at least 20. The title of each chapter is a lesson in and of itself. I'm going to say embrace technology because I had that in here as even early in my career.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't want to ignore change. You don't want to ignore at your own peril any kind of changes. And I'd say in business, technology, back then, again, it was, we went from analog to digital, and digital would be the internet and social media and smartphones. And now we're going into AI. So I think be ready for change and embrace change. Don't run from it, run towards it. I really do believe that.
Yeah, it's funny. You have two former IT guys before we got into marketing.
Former IT.
So, you're right. You're absolutely right about technology, and it has evolved so much over the years. How about stories and example? Like, what's your favorite story or example from the book that you want our listeners to keep an eye out for when they read your book?
There's some funny stories in the book. I mean, there's a lot. Most of it's very serious, to be honest. It chronicles my journey from 1983 up until about 2022. We published it, in 2022, I think.
22,
a few years ago.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. I'm pretty
See,
sure that is.
I know. I'm always
should
like,
say-
yep, June of
There
2022.
we go.
Right in the mark.
But favorite story, I'm going to tell a really, there's many, okay? Many lessons, many stories, many serious business lessons in that book. But there's a fun story that I tell very early on in the book to give away, betray my personality. I'm a little outgoing and not as buttoned up corporate as people might think, even though that's what I pretended to be for so many years.
Did you wear the yellow glasses back then?
They didn't make yellow glasses.
Oh, all right.
And I would have been afraid to. I conformed very much so to do what a good corporate citizen is supposed to do. But I don't mind telling the name of the company. It was many years ago. I won't get in any trouble now. RCA Direct Marketing, Avenue of the Americas. Forget the floor number, but a big skyscraper. And I'm right out of graduate school. And I was there for a year and a half working as a copywriter. One night we had a party. Now, this is RCA Records and Tapes. We had tons of music.
Tapes. Oh, hold that thought. Reagan, you know what a cassette tape is?
That one I know.
She knows. Okay.
Vinyl.
So
I had a stereo in my office. I could close the door in my office, listen to music, and I wrote about the music. But like Daryl Hall or Hall and Oates or Dolly Parton.
She's a man.
A Motley Crue. Or
There we go, Motley Crue. I love it.
Whoever, maybe it was even before Motley Crue. Whoever was big, John Cougar. That you never knew that.
Before
John
he was Mellencamp.
He
was John Cougar, John Mellencamp.
Who knows the name of his very first album or one of his?
Ain't even done with the night, or I need a lover that don't drive me crazy.
Nothing matters, and
Nothing matters.
what if it did, or even if it
He
does.
just played in Mansfield last week.
Yes, he did. And I heard it was a great show.
Yeah, Pink House is.
I'm going to forget my story, but I don't get
sorry.
cut to the chase. We had a party. We played a lot of music. I mean, these were fancy companies I worked at back in the day: RCA, Warner Brothers, Meredith. And we had all the fixings, and that probably might have included some adult beverages. I literally, and it's in the book, remember it and know I did it, and I'm here to admit it, danced on the table of the president of the company's desk.
So wait a minute, Bob. Hold
at this party late at night.
There's a little side thing here. With our AMA marketing mingles, Bob is known for getting up on tables and chairs. So that's where it got started.
So now we know
I think it started long before then.
Oh, okay.
I've always been
it's like the Paul Harvey rest of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always been kind of out there, but I keep it bottled up, in the business world, because we have to kind of
Speaking of getting
play the
bottled
role.
up, let's talk about social media. So, for posting every single day, and I love your motivational posts that you do. You're running, you're sweating, right?
Oh, yeah.
What drives that level of consistency? Is it because you run every day? Or is it...
the posting, because you mentioned the running, they're almost one and the same in that I have high energy. I was born with a lot of energy, and I feel blessed with that.
He doesn't need a wake shot.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like, I had to down one before. Jeff's like, make sure you take the awake shot before we interview.
James, if anything, I need a subdued. I've always been a high energy, tightly wound. So posting, I have a whole theory about that, and this, legit serious, and I'm sure it's in the book probably a few times. Consistency is how you become known, and you want to become known in order to, if you're doing it for professional reasons, conduct business. You have to get people's attention. That's advertising number one. Attention, then it's interest, desire, and action. So I make social media an extension of who I am. So every day I'm posting. I'm either scheduling some content, recording some content, or just like while I was waiting for you guys to show up, I was here early, even though I was across the street.
Well, there's two CICs right next to each other, that's a legit.
I had time to post a video of me, and I said I gave the market like a Hotshot a plug. So I'm always thinking of what am I doing now that could be shared, and I think that's important to share yourself with others.
Yeah, I always think of it when you feel creative. Get on a video right away and just talk, and that's a good way.
But one thing before we move on, though, I do want to point out consistency is probably I'm glad you brought that one up, because that's the thing that I think is most important. A lot of times people, they'll wait for everything to be perfect. But I think it's, like some of our episodes that we do for this, and I know, Bob, you've been doing a podcast for longer than we have, a lot longer. Getting that out there consistently is, I think, more important than editing out the ums and the ahs or
Watch this. Hold that thought. He knows I'm going to say this right now. Consistency.
I know.
It's like going to the gym. All right, I'm gonna stop there because I know a friend.
You're gonna make me spit my
And you go to
kombucha
the
out.
gym. Yeah.
Igor's not. We'll be talking to Igor later, but he'll bring that up, I'm sure.
Oh, in episode 62 when we
Yeah.
do that one later.
Consistency to me is waking up, and it's like water. It's like breathing. That's social
How about
media.
kombucha?
Yeah.
I passed on that. I hardly know what
Yeah,
it
but
is.
you know,
I think I had it
there's-
once, and I didn't really like it.
So actually, when I was exercising the most, and we'll get back to your questions, but just something for the listeners, I think that's good. There was a program called 75 Hard by Andy Frisella. I don't know if you've ever heard
Never
of it.
heard of it.
I did that for about 200 days.
Oh, I have heard of that.
Yeah, it is
Workout,
like
yeah.
when it's consistent, it's like diet, exercise, reading, all like daily self-care. It's like you get into those habits, and that's what that. As an adult, that was like the best thing I ever did. So I think you getting out there doing that stuff on social media every day for how many years you've been doing it is phenomenal. I think that's why you've got such a good following. You've got a great audience, and I think the quality of your content is so good because you're always out there. You're practicing it, like you said. You're coming up with ideas while you're waiting and stuck in a stairwell or
The brain's
whatever.
spinning. Yeah. Like I was over there. Yeah.
And so
That's how I would have escaped that stairwell if Reagan didn't come and rescue me.
She rescued you.
I would have done a live video. Hey, I'm stuck in a stairwell. Social media will save me.
I know. So let's talk about brands. Like, what one brand nails authenticity the best?
Authenticity.
Like, what can listeners learn from them? If you think about a brand,
So I'm going to easy answer first, and then I'll
The hard answer,
get
right.
to the corporate answer.
Right.
I like to look at individuals who like artists, and I'm going to mention one that I just saw perform at Fenway Park, Noah Khan.
oh no,
Yeah, it was an amazing show.
do you have a northern attitude?
I do. I was raised with out in the cold and
Out
in
in
the
the cold.
little light.
Little light. That's
You
right.
didn't think I knew the lyrics?
The
did you?
sunrise in the summertime. Yeah.
So Noah Khan is so transparent, so extemporaneous, so humble, and that's authenticity. And I look at him as an example, and he is like that on social media, by the way. I believe brands should be, maybe not to that extreme. They might not be able to afford to take risks like that, but I'd like to see them push much more towards Noah Khan than towards up in their ivory towers, not sharing a word, not showing their face. You don't even know who the executives behind the scenes are.
Right.
Wendy's is great on X. If you've never seen Wendy's hamburgers like McDonald's and Burger King, but Wendy's, they rule on X. They're very funny. I think they hire comedy writers.
They do. It's so
think
funny.
I've
It
heard
seems that way too.
I
Oh,
I
gotta
feel
check
like
them
that
out.
too.
So you could say it's a little staged,
They-
but they are so clever, so quick,
They are.
and
It's-
informal, and what you wouldn't expect from a big business.
Yeah.
That's
Man, I'm
authenticity.
gonna follow Wendy's.
You know what?
That's-
What they remind me of is those signs on the Mass Pike that they would be like, on May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They'd be like, do not text while driving. Like they'd use like a Yoda tone, or they would make it relevant. Like use your blinka with the Boston
blinka.
accent.
They had a Wendy's lookalike contest in real life and physical where I saw it promoted on X the other day, and they were saying come to this lookalike contest if you look like our mascot or our logo, and that's Wendy. I guess was she the daughter of
Dave Thomas's daughter.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, haven't eaten fast food in like 20 years, but I think Wendy's was the last place I went to.
Wendy's was awesome.
When I wasn't
It's not like
vegetarian,
it used to be, frankly,
I used to
but
go there.
it's still good.
They honestly, I think they have the best quality out of the big three, then Burger King and McDonald's. But,
So let's get into teaching, because we're talking about teaching marketing like a hotshot. That's like Bob is, right? So we talked earlier, taught at a couple of local institutions, Keep Tech, Suffolk right now, or in Suffolk University. And you're also Northeastern. My alma mater, the Huskies.
Huskies, like
Love
a Husky. And Mass College of Pharmacy
Mass
and
College
Health Sciences.
Pharmacy, which is a great school. So I'm going to flip it here. What do your students teach you about marketing? Even though you're the teacher, now you're teaching students. What have you learned from the students?
They keep me on my toes, Jeff. So that's
They
a
do.
fantastic question.
Yeah.
I have to, if I'm teaching social media, that's one good thing about me doing so much social media, and I get that for feedback in the student evaluations. Oh, a professor you can actually talk to on Instagram or something, and they see me on TikTok even. So, but what I learned from them, I have to be accountable. I had better know what I'm talking about, and I learn how they feel about social media, what channels, what platforms, what tools, technologies they're using. Like, they're not on Facebook that much anymore, that age group. I might not know that as well about that as well as I do if I didn't have them in my class. I mean, they know social media, but they don't necessarily know how to use it for professional reasons. So I don't have to teach them how to open up an Instagram account. They're already there. But how do you use it for business? How do you promote your posts? How do you write professional posts day in and day out, multiple times a day, all over social media for business reasons? It's a big responsibility.
It is.
So I teach them the serious side, for the most part, of social media.
So what one lesson you wish every student or even business owner would understand about social media? So if you ever think about teaching marketing, like a Hotshot, your Hotshots in this case is your students, or it could be a business. What's one lesson you wish they all knew?
The social media. I swear, social media's been around almost let's say 25 years, approximately. Not long after the internet surfaced, there was social media, and Facebook. What 2004, and then 2006 to non-college students.
Right down the street here. Facebook.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
Right over in Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard. Mark Zuckerberg.
Zucky.
Jesse Eisenberg played him in a great movie, The Social Network.
I watched that on my last plane, and it was actually really a good movie too. It's a great movie.
So the social media, businesses and brands and individuals still think, if you're doing it for business reasons, they think it's just, advertising, promoting, selling. No, you really want to let your hair down. Back to that word, authenticity. You want to be yourself on social media. So you want to show the human side of your business. And too many businesses still just try to, I say it's like a square peg in a round hole. They try to just use their traditional advertising marketing tactics and strategies. That ain't going to work on social. You need to be interacting. You need to be listening. You need to be supporting, entertaining.
Be human in the loop. Right?
It reminds me of one of the crimes we did a couple episodes ago.
What was that?
Which is just like the corporate. They're like, just make social media happen,
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, just make it, get us a ton of views.
AI. That was that CEO magazine and business class reading about AI. We got to do AI.
We're going to do this. We got to do that. They're like, just, make it. It's like when I had a boss that told me to write him a sequel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a sequel to what? And he's like, he meant an SQL script. But whatever.
You don't just snap your fingers.
Magically do it.
So good stuff so far. Goal here is any aspiring marketers out there that want to go into teaching, teach marketing like a Hotshot. Bob is a great resource, and that book's a great resource. But
thank you, Jeff.
Leadership and community. I think Mr. Feudo's got a couple questions on that one.
So you're a former AMA Boston. Excuse me, the kombucha's getting
kombucha.
I didn't trust that kombucha.
No, I know. So you're a former AMA Boston president, just the current one.
Yes.
Just what?
That's a big deal. Not everyone goes more than 1 year.
So, being in that role as a leader, what did that teach you about leadership?
In marketing. Not in a law firm.
No. So leadership, patience, and you got to lift other people up, and in terms of marketing, again, it keeps you accountable, because if you are the president of any organization, you had, again, better know what you were talking about and realize that your words carry a lot of weight. So in your actions, everything you do, you're being looked at, you're being looked up to and trusted. So it keeps you on your toes, marketing wise, as a leader, patience and realizing you're dealing with human beings, and that I'll tie back to marketing. You're dealing with human beings, all this AI, all this technology, it still comes down to, face to face,
We're here live.
conversations.
We're actually humans here with Kendall Square behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
real.
This is real. We're
And Reagan's
live
over
and in
there,
person.
And through the windows, there's like 100 people out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're here for, but I'll find out later.
They're here to see us.
Yeah, they're here to see.
We have security at the door here. They're not letting them in.
It's like the Today Show.
You know
I
who's
they're
our
outside the
security
window.
too, right? We have two famous security guards out there.
We do. Yeah, Bezos and who's the other one?
Goldstone.
Goldstone. That's right.
I love this.
They're really tough guys. But and how about community for marketers? We're on the subject of AMA Boston, which is an amazing association here. But we always talk about community for marketers. How important is that? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, no. I got a story. Seth Godin, one of my favorite marketers, and I've read like 20 of his 30 books.
Yeah.
And they're all highly recommended. And he wrote a book called Tribes a bunch of years ago.
Yeah.
When the internet came around and social media. And he said there's no better time now or easier time now than to lead a tribe. And by tribe, he meant community. And community is your audience, your fans, your prospective customers, and you want to build that community because they'll through word of mouth. I'll go back to Noah Khan. I mean, he sold out his whole tour
Four shows at Fenway, man.
Insane.
Yeah,
and everyone sings the lyrics, and everyone loves him. It's almost like a cult, and that's a community. You want to have people love you that much. And notice I said it doesn't mean necessarily buy from you or you want them to like you and adore you and respect you, and over time they'll buy from you. Obviously, you got to have something good to offer them, but once you have that, you do have to be human to human. So that's why I go back to Noah Khan and then tie it back to Seth Godin with the book Tribes.
Yeah,
perfect. Love it.
Great book.
Yeah, with the internet, you can do it. Anybody, it's a level playing field. We could be posting 100 times a day on social. Anyone has that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then the more you're out there, the more they see you, the more they follow you, et cetera, et cetera.
That's what I love. I love some of these tips you're giving us to our community, Hotshot Nation, right?
We
got a name for ours, and
Nation.
But I mean, that's
good, Jeff.
I like that.
It's so important to us. It's like, as marketers, but also as podcasters and business owners and all of that. When you have a community, it's gold. It's pure
Just
gold.
like here. I mean, I love that we're here on Venture Cafe in Cambridge this week.
We got a bunch of our friends out there that keep knocking on the window. So you see us.
They keep making faces out.
I know. It's like, if you see,
if
you're watching the video and you keep seeing our eyes dotting all over the place, it's because
we're here in a studio to keep it quiet so you guys could hear us. But, we got some fans
Very
out there.
professional. I'm so
We
impressed.
love it.
Yeah. So, hey, how about, speaking of professional, AI, automation.
Yeah.
No, we got to bring this up. The future of marketing. How do you see AI changing the marketing landscape?
Big time, huge. I mean, the job I described that I did for many, many years as a copywriter, a lot of what I did early in my career can be done by AI now. So jobs are changing, jobs are being replaced.
So true.
You need to know AI. I will say at the same time, it only gets things done faster, maybe some would argue better, but you still need the human quality. You still need, we're the leaders, we're the orchestrators, we're the, as my friend Frank Coleman says, with this operator. Yeah, he says we're the operators. I say we're the conductors, choreographers. It's like your assistant. But you got to know. So I need to know how to be a creative director or a copywriter if I'm back in corporate using AI. Teaching, I had better know how to use AI, and I teach AI because the students are using it. Everybody's using it. It's a huge game changer. Embrace technology.
Embrace AI. You have to embrace it.
Yeah,
no doubt. I'm actually going to go backwards with it. We're going to go back to 2026. Yeah, and this might relate to AIs. What's the most underrated marketing tactic this year? Like, we're in 2026 right now.
Yeah, so most underrated,
It might change next year when we interview you in 2026.
No, because I'm going to say it's simple. I go back to the basics, and that's you got to be Mark Schaefer, someone else I follow in the marketing industry, has a book called Known, and it's all about personal branding. Advertising, marketing, business, period. If you want friends, so in your personal life, you have to become known. How do you become known? You got to be visible. You got to have a voice. Your voice matters. Showing up matters. If you're not seen, how can you get the word out and build that community and sell anything and even have friends? You have to be known.
I'm trying to get more friends.
This podcast will do it, Jeff.
All right.
And keep going on the rail trail. You'll
I know,
bump
yeah,
into
I'm
You're
some-
going to make a
Some
ton of
runners.
friends on the rail trail
I know,
since you got us a
exactly.
guest when you dragged me out there. You gotta love it.
And then you have some AI questions too. Want to go back to AI a little bit? Or?
Oh, I love these questions.
Yeah.
I love all of them.
So, I mean, we know AI, everyone's using it. So I'm going to ask you actually a double-ended question. First, what parts of marketing should be AI automated, and then which ones should never be AI automated?
And it's almost a work in progress, James. I'm not going to avoid the question, but obviously repetitive tasks and simple tasks that is going to save you time that you're not necessarily expected to do anymore because someone's going to say, "Are you kidding me? You're not using AI to do that." Those are obvious, but you don't want it to replace again the heart and soul,
Right.
The human aspect. So if I'll tell you, I will admit it, I'm writing my second book, A Life in Motion, and I am using AI to do the discovery phase of writing this book, and that is dictating all my memories and organizing all those memories. And it's my words. I will be editing it over and over and over again. Once it's all accumulated, it's going to take me 2 or 3 years. But why wouldn't I use AI to help me organize it?
Right.
So I'll dictate a memory and I'll say, put it into the years 1980, 81. Here's another memory that I want you to put back in chapter 1 when I was talking about blah, blah, blah. So use it to help you do things easier and faster, but don't use it to replace yourselves. That's what I would
Does
say.
not replace humans.
No.
No.
What would we do with ourselves then?
Yeah, because if it did, you'd have those LinkedIn posts that are long, emojis.
Oh.
You see those all the time, and it's like, Reagan and I spent a whole, probably 15, 20 minutes going through our feeds to see, which ones are AI generated.
That is slop. That's AI slop.
AI slop.
And it's
That's a
because
new word.
It's a
it's
little
all-
laziness, too. It's
it
just that
doesn't
it's
show
not-
the human authenticity that we were talking about later. But there is a way to, maybe work with it to help you, that consistency part. I've been doing it all along with no AI, but maybe I can be even more consistent with a little help from AI. I'm
Right.
saying that hypothetically.
So how about let's get into stories. I know that makes me think of Chucky Goldstone.
Yeah, who's
out
standing
there.
right outside.
He's right out there. He's trying to get in here. We'll get him in here.
We'll get him in for the next
episode.
one.
What's the wildest marketing story you've experienced in all the years? I don't know if it's in your book or.
There's a lot of stories in my book, and I was a copywriter, so I wrote stories. I told stories. I mean, I wrote 4-page letters, 6-page letters. I mean, direct mail was hard work. And again, remember, I'm going back before any technology. This might not be a wild story, but it's a successful story. I didn't write it, but the Wall Street Journal used to have a letter that was very, very successful. And in direct mail, you call it a control. If it works so well, they keep mailing it over and over. And it was tested against, and it kept winning. And the letter, I think, I remember the copywriter's name was Martin Conroy. And it was about 2 smart people who got out of college. One subscribed to the Wall Street Journal, one didn't. And how the one who subscribed to the Wall Street Journal became very, very successful and very, very wealthy, and the other one didn't. And it was a very successful direct mail letter telling that story, which I assume was made up.
Yeah.
And it worked wonders. So
Nice.
I don't know if you're expecting that answer,
That's
but
a pretty wild story.
look up the Wall Street
What do you think,
Journal.
Reagan, huh?
I think it's called Two Young Men letter.
Yeah.
Martin Conroy, I believe.
So I think we're almost ready to go in for that landing. So we have a couple rapid fire questions.
I like this.
That's my favorite part of this one for you, Bob.
We go.
As if we're not rapid fire as it is.
Yeah.
So best
Crank it up a
social,
couple notches.
best social platform right now. Right now, hands down.
Instagram's the most popular. I won't say it's the best, but it's the most popular. I mean, it's fun, it's easy, it's used by all ages. I mean, LinkedIn would be, obviously for professional reasons, but I think Instagram is one of my favorites right now.
That's a good one.
Love it.
All right, next one. Most underrated marketing skill.
Social media. So I'm going to say that because as long as it's been around, people still don't get it. don't understand
So
that it
true.
helps them stay present on a regular basis
Yeah.
and helps you become known. I can't be everywhere. None of us can be everywhere all at one time.
Yeah.
Corporations, businesses, executives, celebrities. So social media, why would you not be using social media to put yourself out there? So I
That's
am
so
saying
true.
it's still underrated. It's
Still
it's
underrated.
underutilized.
I love
It's
it. Yeah.
I mean that.
absolutely.
It's
I know my family makes fun of me because I'm on social media too much.
well,
Well,
do they? What about relatives that you wouldn't
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
if you weren't on social
I know.
media?
That's how I keep. I haven't seen some of my cousins in over 20 years. I was telling James that years, but I know exactly what's going on in their life because of Facebook.
yeah, it's the
Right,
same thing
yeah.
with like high school. We
Yeah,
haven't had a
high school
reunion in
friends.
like 15 years, I think, and it's like everything that's going on. But Bob, along those lines,
Every day, I wish people happy birthday.
Yeah.
Congratulate them
Oh, yeah.
on births.
Yeah.
Condolences on deaths. Sadly, again, that's for personal reasons, but for
Right.
business, it's same.
Yeah,
there's
same
so
stuff.
many opportunities that are being missed.
And just one thing to add on the social media piece, because back when you and I were teaching at the same
Yeah,
time, which
yeah.
is cool, I used to tell people my advice was create shareable good content consistently. And that advice I still share today. I don't know about you. Did you have like a nugget of advice that you were sharing back then that's still relevant today?
I don't know if I had this catchphrase. That's perfect. What you just said, shareable content consistently. I say be conspicuous in your presence on social media. That's one of my catchphrases, and it just means there's no excuse for any business. If you are marketing, selling something, advertising something, for not using social media. I'm not saying every individual has to be using it. That's their personal choice. But
Yeah.
I don't know why every individual wouldn't be using it in this day and age.
So, what marketing trend would you wish disappeared? Went away.
Meetings. I don't know if that's a marketing trend, but I worked at many agencies as a marketer, and I always felt there were too many meetings. I'd rather see people doing the actual work.
Do
I think
the
there's
work.
way too much
Yeah.
talking about doing the work and not actually doing the work. And I even read that recently that Gen Z or something is finding ways to fake, if you will, productivity.
Yeah.
It's all a game.
Make the
business
mouse
days.
wobble so they look like they're on.
Cut to the chase, get to the point, let people do what they do best. And
Awesome stuff.
so it is a market. I think there's an over-analysis paralysis thing going on at agencies.
I see that in corporate America.
Yeah,
all the
you know
time.
what I mean.
Yeah, that's why I'm not in corporate
And
America.
just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
Jeff, if you were to, because I love this question.
Yes, that's a good one.
If you could make something go away, what would it be?
People stop selling stuff on social media. Be authentic, tell stories, but don't sell stuff. Because it's not not a TV commercial. It's a human-to-human interaction, one-to-one interaction on social media.
And it leads to a relationship.
At least to a relationship.
And then what? Then
Exactly.
marriage and personal life and then professional life, business. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, this has been a rock star episode 61.
This is great.
Because you both are rock stars.
I love it. That's why I said this.
Yeah, that's why we have this energy. I love having you.
We got the energy. We're drinking kombucha in the wake shop. So, what's next? I know 2026 is almost coming to a close, if you can believe
That's
it.
coming in for a
We got
landing.
5 more months left, right? What's next for you? Besides teaching?
A lot of teaching in the fall, and I am working on this new book. I mean, it's legit. I'm about probably third or more into the discovery phase. My plan is to have it published in about 3 years. But speaking, I like speaking opportunities, and I want to do another Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow.
We got to do that.
Yeah. Need you back, and need you there.
I know. I'm gonna.
Reagan, of course.
And all these people, I got to go invite all of them to the next one. But events, speaking, writing, and teaching, and my running. Another marathon's in my future.
You gonna run that chair?
I will. I don't know if it'll be Boston. I don't know if I'll get a number, but I will run.
You got to get Boston's because I didn't meet you in mile 7 for
I know.
a selfie, right?
And you're my biggest fan. I need that.
Mile 7.
That sharing. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll say one last question because we've been like interrogating you like Fauci's getting interrogated by the politics right now.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
But anyways, what's one message you would want Hotshot Nation to walk away with today? We're talking about teaching like a hotshot. If you were a teacher, what would your message be?
So This is a sad story, but I'll turn it into a positive. The other day I saw at the Milford Quarries, someone dove into the quarries, and it's from a high level
That's pretty high.
and drowned. Sadly, in the Milford Quarries, a teenager, and that's
Yeah,
very,
so
very
that's-
sad. But it reminded me of when I was a kid. I used to jump into those same
I
quarries.
jumped in those quarries. I used to live in Milford, so that was one of the first things I
I
did.
don't think we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, no. Hey, you learn something every day on social media.
I brought it up with my wife Barbara. I said, when I saw that story, I said, I used to jump there, and I used to jump off a rock called Mo Rock,
Yeah.
and we would dare to. Now, so this is dangerous. Don't do this at home.
Don't do this at home.
But I'm going to use it as a metaphor. It's taking risks. I want people not to be afraid. Again, don't do what I'm
Don't
talking
jump
about,
off.
and
Don't
that
jump
is a
off
very
a
sad,
building
horrible
without a
story.
parachute.
But I am saying, the metaphorically speaking, figuratively speaking, don't be afraid to take the plunge now and then, and leap of faith. Take
I
a
like
leap
that.
of faith,
Leap of faith.
because you
Write
got to
that
take
down,
risks.
Reagan.
You can't be so afraid you're not in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't be
Yeah.
a spectator. Be a player.
Be a player. I love it. We're players, man. So cool. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
We got to
Okay.
have you back at some point.
we're gonna
too.
definitely
All
have you
right?
back.
You know where to find me.
We know where you are. We find those glasses, man. So
Yeah.
episode 61, teach marketing like a hotshot. Bob Cargill, featured guest. Like us, share us, repost us, leave the comments. Check out marketlikeahotshot.com. Get some merch. Got the t-shirts. You know, the Market Like a Hotshot t-shirts. Sorry, Bob.
No, those are awesome. You outdo my T-shirt.
And then you
That's a
got
great
your
one.
t-shirt
I do
too.
have one.
And then you get these on Bob Cargill's site right
There's
here.
2026
What
version,
does it
11,
say on there?
2027
So
version.
we got that right
The
here.
business of being human.
Business
Yeah.
of being
Love it.
human, and I love that. That's what social media is all about. So, Hotshot Nation, we'll see you all soon.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, James.
Take care.
Thank you.